What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you go hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the updates or upgrades, as I should say, to my Mazda build here. If you watched the last video, you'll know that I finished up the amp / speaker rack. Got it all mounted and wired up. And behind the scenes, I went ahead and I hooked up the capacitor. So I just had a jumper wire come from the positive on the battery to the positive on the capacitor, and then that runs to the fuse, and then that goes into the amp. So I don't have the sub hooked up yet. Well, I did, but right now we have no sub. So this video is going to be a little bit different than the last couple. So yeah, right now I got the box out, and I'll show you here in a minute what I'm doing on it. I got a long list of stuff that I got to get done so I can make it to the Ruckus and Chill 2024. It's in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I've got 11 days to get a lot of stuff done, and it's the freaking crunch time right now. So I'll show you what I'm doing on the box. So me being a cheap ass, should have done it right the first time. I know I said in the first video that I was gonna do a double layer on everything. Well, I didn't, and it's just there was a lot of panel resonance, you know, because it was only one layer wood. So now I went and bought me another sheet of maple, and so I got this top piece put on there, and on the I had to end up going a different route. Instead of the T-nuts, I had to get these brad nuts, and I used construction adhesive and nails to get them all nailed in, because what was happening whenever I was tightening down on these Phillips head bolts with the T-nut, it was basically pulling that T-nut out because the T-nut wasn't mounted from the bottom side. So that was a mistake on my end, but yeah, I'm getting it all situated. So double layer on both sides, the top, and I went ahead and I done one on the bottom as well. I just cut some strips out. So strip there, one on either side, and then on the side, of course. But it's definitely made this thing even heavier than what it was. So I've already got this last piece cut out, and the reason I'm doing this too is because whenever I built this box and I didn't have enough wood, and I was just gonna, you know, Craig jig screw these pieces together, well, there was a knot right here, and that knot ended up splitting, and I could hear something whenever I was at certain frequencies. Whenever it was like full tilt, I could hear something like rattling, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was, because of these cracks in the wood. And this wasn't a crack, I just went ahead and put some on this seam where it was just like a bit of a big gap, but so it cracked all the way across there, and then a little bit right there, and on the inside you could just barely see a crack from the inside there. So I smudged in some construction adhesive really good to kind of fill in that gap. But so yeah, I won't be filming everything in this video. Just kind of be doing like some little updates and stuff as kind of as I go. So that's just one of the things I got to get done. After I get this piece cut on, I will route all the edges and sand it, primer it, and then I'm just going to do the truck bed coating over top of it because I still got some left over. I have to install 2 runs of 0 gauge from the alternator. I need to mount a light for the amp. I need to mount a fan for the amp. let's see, I've already done that. Mark and trim the port. So where the port, I might try and drop a little picture here, but where the port stuck through at the bottom of it, it stuck out because that rear panel window, whatever you want to call it, was not, 90 degrees. It's a little bit of an angle. I think it was like 8 degrees off. So I trimmed that, and it might affect the port tuning just slightly, but not a whole lot. I'm going to build a center console with an armrest, and let's see, got to take the camper shell off, or unclamp it, fix the accordion boot. I'm going to remove all that spray foam that I put on there that I should have never done. I just jumped the gun on it. Yeah, clean up that spray foam. If I have time, I'm going to sand and primer the top so it's not, that burgundy color that it is now. I want to fabricate a storage area for my toolbox and stuff, because right now I've just got a ratchet strap going across the bed in the back to keep stuff from sliding to the front. I kind of want to do a little something better than that. I need to pop a dent out where a deer hit me the other month in the driver's side rear quarter. It's right behind the fender, so I should be able to get a basketball up in there and pump it up, and it should pop that out because it's not that bad of a dent. But I need to add either 1 or 2 bolts from the cab to the bed and try and stiffen that up to help with a little bit of panel flex that I got going on. Let's see, I have a new catalytic converter supposed to be coming in Wednesday, a new radiator and spark plugs, so I need to get all that done as well, because the catalytic converter, I've kind of been noticing it's going out. It's just losing a little, it's losing power. You're smelling that sulfur smell. It's hard to maintain highway speeds and stuff, and if I'm gonna be driving that thing 4 hours to Fayetteville on September 9th, I think it's 9th and 10th, I need to get that situated so I ain't stranded up there. So yeah, I'm gonna throw this last piece on, and I am using construction adhesive, a bunch of it, on these panels, and just shooting a ton of brad nails all along in through here. And once that construction adhesive, which it's already dried because I done this yesterday, but that stuff, once it's cured, it's there for good. So yeah, I will paint that little strip back there so it don't stick out, but you really wouldn't be able to see it no way, because the sub's right here and then the port and stuff. So let me get started on this, and I'll check back in with you guys later. Alright, so it's a couple days later. It's Friday, November 1st. Just got off night shift, and this technically starts my weekend today. So I guess I'm gonna have to pull a all-nighter, I guess you could say, since I should be going to bed, but I gotta go back in 12 hours on Sunday. So I'm gonna go ahead and stay up and just kind of stay busy and knock out as much as I can. You gotta love swing shift, but I've been kind of, burning the candle at both ends a little bit, but I didn't record anything. But I got the box all painted up. Had to actually get some longer bolts for the terminals because of the added wood thickness. The other bolts was too short, and so now I don't have 4 holes. I just have the 2 sticking out for the power and ground. Bought me some little handles to make this easier to pull on and off, and I had to redo the window sill right here, because whenever I had to take the T-nuts that was originally in there out, and all this construction adhesive. I had to basically scrap the foam seal that was there and just had to put a fresh seal down. Same thing with the sub too. Whenever I went to pull the sub, a lot of that stuck to the rubber part of the surround, which wasn't no big deal. I just had to put it on there. And the reason I cut these little gaps for screw holes, because it makes it easier for me to see where the screw holes actually are, where it lines up or whatever. And I bought some HVAC tape, and I taped around this lip of the port, and then I'm gonna put some more on the port before I screw it on, and I'll line the inside of the port with that as well. And I don't know if you can see right here, but so that's how I had to basically angle. Well, it's upside down. How I had to, no, that was right. How I had to angle the port because that window wasn't flush, and that way it'll be flush with that back wall. So speaking of the back wall, I have to take it out. I have to remove that rear panel. So I'm gonna have to remove this, and before I can do that, I'm gonna have to probably, I don't know, hopefully I won't have to take it all the way out, but I'm gonna have to at least drop the back end of this headliner down so I can get to the bolts on this bracket up in here to remove this. That way, because that is actually touching the accordion boot on the back side, and I need to redo that accordion boot. So you got to pull that so I can get this mess out, and then redo right here on the inside, just because I don't like how it's got that ugly bulge. And you can see where the spray foam right there is hardened into the rubber boot, and it's pushed it down, and it just looks ugly, and I can't be having it looking like that. So also, since I'm going to be having to remove this panel, I don't want to have to do that again for a while, and I'm thinking about go ahead and changing the color scheme to what I eventually want to go to, and that's gray, to kind of match the interior, of course. I got two different colors of gray I picked up at Lowe's, and I'm gonna pick which one I think matches the best with the, you know, the interior panels and stuff, and then I will, that way I can go ahead and redo the color on that, so it's done. I ain't got to pull it back out or nothing like that. And probably go ahead and, if I have time, redo the doors before got a brain fart. Before Ruckus and Chill. But yeah, I should be able to get that done. Let's see, let me go to the other side, because that seat won't slide, won't lean all the way up. But so I also got me a center console going, and nothing special. I don't need to have any speakers or anything in here. I just need something that functions. But this was actually off of my previous box, where I had the inverted sub back here and the center console, and the port come out right here, and this is actually going to work. I just kind of got it sitting right here, and I'll show you a little hack later on how I get this Velcro to work with this cover, so you know, got you a nice little armrest cushion there. And just used a little clasp right here. The reason I did that is because a previous box I built, I just used like a magnetic drawer catch, and whenever the base was hitting it, this would be rattling. So I was like, well, if I do this, it'll kind of cinch it down real good. So you just basically unlatch it, And that opens up. Just put some little hinges on the back there. And it's actually a lot of storage space in there. Nice little spot. Put my phone right here. Or I could probably end up doing some kind of drink holders right here if I want, but I've already got 2 drink holders down here, but it's pretty convenient to have my phone right there, you know, so. Yep, just a little update for you guys. I'll check back in whenever I get some more progress done. Alright, so I got the center console all painted and all the hardware back on. Turned out pretty good. I went with the Rust-Oleum smoke gray. That color matched the best, so gonna have to pick up a couple more cans of that stuff to finish everything else. But I just did the inside. I just left the inside all black because I did a coat of primer on everything before I painted it and stuff. So let me get this camera set up and then I'll show you how I'm going to attach this cushion up here for the armrest. Alright, so I was able to use the same strips of Velcro that was on the previous box. As you can see right here, I just got the strips just stapled to the wood. That way the Velcro doesn't pull off. And so I'm just going to do the same thing here. Just throw a couple staples in each one. That's all there is to it. I still gotta put some more fabric, redo the fabric on this because it had gotten torn. But other than that, that's about all she wrote for this center console. And in between coats on the paint, I was working on putting all that HVAC tape on the inside of the port here, and I got it all taped up and around there, and I rolled it out with the roller so it's all nice and smooth. And also what I'm going to do is once I get the box mounted, I'm probably going to take at least one strip and overlap it so it will help seal off the little bit of gap between the camper shell and the cab, so no air is escaping. And what I'm also going to try and do is I bought this 2-inch wooden dowel, and I'm basically going to rip it in half and make some roundovers for the port. So I rip that in half, and then it'll have a nice roundover edge, and probably screw that, use some screws and screw that on once the box is mounted. I think it should help with, you know, airflow and everything, and it'll make it look a little cooler too. So I'm gonna start taking that panel out, and then I'll update you guys whenever I get done with that. Alright, so I got that back panel out. I got it all taped up. I didn't feel like having to take all them machine bolts out, so I taped it up real good around the window, and I'm just gonna paint over the bolt heads there. And I taped it all up so I don't get no overspray on the back, because I'm gonna keep the back of it black. But just gonna go with this gray color, that way everything's matching and stuff. So I'll get this paint laid down, and then while that's drying, I'm gonna start working on getting that accordion boot off. Alright guys, so it's the next day, and made a little bit of progress on this thing. So got all that spray foam off as best as I could around here. And I got me these edge pieces, I got these cut out to help match this contour better, so that accordion boot will not get no creases or anything when it starts to make that transition. But I got it all, got my holes drilled and it's riveted on there. And I'm gonna go back and that's what it looks like from the inside. But I've got some silicone. It's really good. It's a Lexel sealant, and I'm gonna, just on these cracks right here, I'm just gonna put some right here, and then all along this gap right here on the front and the back. Just that way, make sure don't no water leak in. Next thing I'm gonna get started on, I'm gonna go ahead and just sand it down real good and tape all the windows and everything. And I got 2 cans of this turbo flat black primer stuff here, so that way it's not I mean, I know it don't really matter, but I think it'll look better. And while I got it off, or while I've got it unclamped, I'm gonna go ahead and just get this thing taken off here and get it set up and start sanding, and then get me a coat of primer laid down on it for the time being. And I need to order some of these shocks off Amazon, because I'm just having to use a pair of vice grips right now to hold it up, but it works for the time being. I did get me a sticker made though for the YouTube channel. Turned out pretty sweet. And got the back panel painted gray. Turned out pretty good. And I got all this, well, not all of it, but as much as I could, the spray foam that was stuck to the boot. Before I put it back on, I'll try and just go back over it one more time and get this stuff off. But I'm having to be real easy in some places where it's stuck to the rubber so good that it's almost wants to take the rubber off with it. I'm having to be real careful so I don't rip a hole in it, because I done looked on Amazon, you know, a new one's close to 90 bucks, and I wouldn't be able to get one in time before Ruckus. So just gonna have to make do with this one for right now. But yeah, let me get off here and start prepping this thing for some paint. All right, so a couple hours later, I got this thing sanded good enough for this coat of primer. Got everything taped off. I ain't never used this turbo paint before, but let's see how it goes. I'm gonna start on this front piece and kind of get a feel for the fan. Let's see here. You have to bear with me. I'm gonna try and film this instead of setting it up on a tripod. So. I'm probably gonna do two good coats on here. Let's see here. here. Uh-oh, running out. Yep, that can's out. Let me get that other one shook up and I'll check back in with you here in a little while. Didn't turn out half bad. It's still not dry, but hopefully these little streaks that's in here, once it dries all the way, hopefully them streaks won't show up. But other than that, the sides look really good too. The front there. Get this thing loaded up before it gets dark. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that here. So for those that know me personally, you know I'm a little hard-headed and don't like to ask for help. But sometimes you just got to rely on yourself. Oh, had to find the center of balance there for a second, but it ain't too bad. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get this this silicone, that Lexel, put on here, and then I'm gonna get that accordion boot put on. Alright guys, so it's about 4 days later, and just got off my last work day, starting my long break today. So I got 2 days, 2.5, however you want to look at it, to finish wrapping everything up on this before Ruckus this coming Saturday. But I hadn't really filmed anything as far as what I have gotten done since the last clip. I'll just kind of take it through here and show you real quick. So got the camper shell, it's all clamped on, and got the accordion boot put on, and it looks a lot better. Got the box in here. Shout out to my brother, he come over and helped me get it loaded in. Got it all wired up, and I wasn't quite able to get all the expanding foam off of the boot, but I think it looks a lot better than what it did than, you know, having a big strip of cured spray foam right there. So I'm happy with it. So I got this little fan off Amazon, and it's actually had a clamp that come with it where you could, you know, kind of clamp it to something. I just removed that clamp, put a bolt, drilled the hole a little bit bigger, put a bolt through here, and just put it on a little L bracket. But it pivots however which way you want it. It's just a little cheap little fan, but it's got three different settings, and it actually tells you the battery percentage. That's pretty neat, but it blows pretty good actually, and it'll work for what I need it to. Which that amp, it don't really get hot anyways, unless it was like, you know, 80, 90 degrees outside, but got a little sawdust on that. But that is from pre-drilling these holes. So I got that 2-inch dowel that I was gonna do for the roundovers on the port. So I got it all picture framed out here. And it makes it look a lot better than just the square port. I haven't actually, you know, listened to it and see how big of a difference it made, or if it made one at all, but we'll get to that here shortly. But I still gotta countersink, take these screws out and countersink these holes, and I'm gonna wrap all along here. Well, I'm gonna take them off, of course, but I'm gonna wrap these with the same HVAC tape that I used on the inside of the port right here, so it'll kind of all match. But yeah, I got the back panel back in, the headliner, it's back in, and right now I just got home and I started, which I didn't drive much. I didn't drive this to work today, drove my other truck, but right now I'm draining the coolant that's in there, because I'm gonna do a coolant flush on it, because I gotta put this new radiator in. Got it off of Rock Auto, just a factory replacement radiator. But I'm gonna flush the coolant that's in there out right now, and then once that's done, I'm gonna fill it up with distilled water and then let it get up to temp, you know, put the radiator cap back on, and then take it for about a 20-minute drive, and then come back, let it cool down, flush all that coolant out, then change the radiator, because I don't want to get none of that trash. Like, you see this gunk and stuff that's built up in here, I don't want to get none of this gunk in the new radiator if I don't have to. But and I got to do that before I do these dual runs, because I got to take this off anyway, so that's why I haven't done the dual runs yet. But I'm gonna get to that here probably tomorrow. But yeah, let this coolant drain out, and we'll go down the road, and I'll finally let y'all have a little demo of this thing. So I will see you then. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, but I did got me a rechargeable LED. It's like an under cabinet light, and it just holds on by a magnet, and so far it's been holding up pretty good. But yeah, I just got that to give the amp a little bit of a accent lighting, if you will. All right guys, so it's Thursday, November 8th. I'm sorry, Friday, November 8th. And it's kind of running some last minute issues. For a second I thought I was gonna be stuck and not being able to make it to Ruckus, but got some help from my pops, and he helped me get this thing going again. So I went to, well, I never took another video, but I got the radiator changed. That wasn't no problem. Coolant and everything's good. Next day I started on the catalytic converter, which is literally just 2 bolts back here, O2 sensor, and 2 bolts up here at the manifold. Well, I got these 2 back bolts out. They wasn't that bad. And of course I use, like, you know, penetrating oil and you know, a torch to the bolts to help loosen them up. Well, when I went to do these top ones up here, the 2 top bolts that are threaded into the manifold actually broke off, both of them. So long story short, had to basically remove the whole manifold and get a new gasket, drill both of those holes out, and use grade 8 bolts to bolt it in to the manifold. And that literally took all day yesterday, but it's back going now. So, and this is what I've been working on today. I got both runs of 0 gauge ran, so one's coming from the alt over here to the front battery. I got the fuse right here, and then the second one comes along, goes down under here, and it goes straight to the rear battery. So And this, of course, took some time, you know, making everything nice and neat, but I about got it wrapped up now, so all I gotta do is get this thing washed and get to packing. So, and we just threw this in here real quick, but just made a little partition right here just to keep stuff from sliding to the front there. But I got to get my jack, and it's gonna go in here as well. But yeah, guys, I know this video's been a little different in the last couple, but it's just kind of been a lot of last minute little stuff. And I got the roundovers, so I got the HVAC tape all on the roundovers there, and it turned out really good. I like how that looks in there. So there's, you got the fan. I'm gonna have to charge this up tonight because it's only at 40% right now. So, and got the little accent light for the amp there. And I just need to reupholster that this evening. That shouldn't take but 20 minutes or so, and run this HDMI cord. So other than that, guys, that's all she wrote for this one. And thanks again for watching. If you watched it this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and I'll be at Ruckus tomorrow in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and gotta leave about 5:30 in the morning. It's about a 4-hour drive, so if you're there at the event, just swing by and you get a demo on this thing. But yeah, guys, ending it here. I'll catch you in the next one.